Hello, in this video I'll show you how to install a Windows 2016 server into a VirtualBox VM. You can download an image from the internet that's an evaluation version. So we're going to go to Google and just type in download Windows Server. And the first link that you receive should say Windows Server 2016 Microsoft. If not, just look down. It'll be obvious because you see in the link there where it says evaluate Windows Server. So we're going to click on that and we'll scroll down to, it asks us which type of image that we want. We can do an Azure, a Virtual Lab, or an ISO file. So we're going to select an ISO file, which is what we need for our VirtualBox VM. And that's simply just an image of a DVD, CD or DVD. So luckily Microsoft at this point is not making sure that we've got a valid email address and all the associated info that goes along with our personal nature. So we're going to just put some stuff in here so we can get past it. Select the country. In my case it is USA. And select continue. Select our language, which I am speaking English, and click download. And so the download will automatically start, and as you can see it is very big. It's about 6.5 gig. So my connection, it says it's going to take over 20 minutes. So we'll spare you those details. Run over to VirtualBox, click on new. We're going to type in the name of the server as far as what we're going to call it. We're going to select Windows 2016 for the version. We're going to go with the standard 2 gig of RAM. We'll create a hard drive of EDI, and we're going to dynamically allocate it. And so by the default it's going to go to 32 gig, which is fine for the C drive. We need to put our DVD image in there that we just downloaded into the virtual CD-ROM drive. And then the last thing we need to do is change the network type, or the way that the network is plugged in. So I want it in my case to be NAT network. So we'll select that, click on OK, and then we'll start the VM with the big green arrow that's at the top here. And when you do that, you should have a window that appears, which will be the console. And as the DVD boots up, then we'll come to the setup screen. Take the defaults there, click install now. And then you've got 4 options. You've got the server standard desktop experience, the data center, and the data center desktop. So we're going to select the desktop experience. The one without the desktop essentially is no GUI whatsoever, and some people find that to have a little bit harder or steeper of a learning curve, so we'll skip over that at this point. As far as which installation you want, we're going to select custom and highlight the hard drive that we added to the virtual machine, which was the 32 gig drive. The installation is now underway. It'll take a little while to get that done, so we'll again spare you the details there. And as it's finishing up, the last thing that it will do is ask you to, actually it's going to restart first, and then when it boots up, first thing it's going to do is ask you to set an administrator password. Now that prompt there where it says press any key to boot to the DVD, that's because the DVD that we installed from is still inserted into the drive, but we do not want to boot from it now that we've got an OS on the C drive. So we just let that time out. It actually looks like it's going to boot twice before we get to a prompt where we can set the password. Alright, so here it's going to make sure that you type in a password that meets the complexity requirements. I don't know those right offhand, but you can't put something in there, as simple as password. You're going to have an alpha numerical combination and probably a special character perhaps. But just make sure that they match there. Click finish. And then you're up. And so we want to go to input on the console window, go to keyboard, and we want to send the Control-Alt-Delete, which is going to get us to our login screen. Type the administrator password that we just set in the previous screen. And once we do that, the desktop will then appear. By default, something called the Server Manager will automatically start, and it will eventually become very annoying, and you'll turn it off so that it doesn't start for each boot. However, the network. So this is where it asks you if you want to be discoverable on the network. So we'll just click yes at this point, since we're in a lab environment. And as you can see in the background, there's the server manager that I spoke about. If you go over here and click on local server, then you will see several different options here that we can configure. This screen does make it easy to set up all the basics. You can do the computer name, change the work group or what domain it's part of, firewall, remote management. You can install updates. The IE, enhanced security configuration, time zone, all that kind of good stuff you can do from there. So that's good stuff. All right, we've now got a full Windows 2016 installation. So we're going to go and power it off. Oh, excuse me, before we do that, let's go and just show you the properties. And so you can see here that it is a 2016 evaluation version. And it is, I don't think it says here, but it's a 180-day evaluation. So we can use this particular image for several months. So it makes for a good lab practice image. So now we'll power it off. And then the last thing that we want to do, just to make sure that we clean everything up after we're done, is we want to take the virtual DVD drive out so that we won't get that message anymore when it tries to boot. Ask us if we want to boot from the DVD. All right, all done.